Hi everyone, today we're going to do quick notes. You don't have to watch this video by any means, it's just me explaining the directions here, and if you just want me to verbally explain something to you. So this is all about matrices. This is our next unit. So this is a matrix, or a plural is matrices. This is a rectangular array of numbers enclosed by brackets. So a matrix A is below. So you'll notice that matrix A, we have the name for it out here. All right, we have brackets enclosing a set of numbers. Okay, so this is what a matrix will look like. The dimensions, right, this is the first thing you're going to be kind of going over. The dimensions of the matrix are the number of horizontal rows, so it's your number of rows by the number of vertical columns it has. Okay, so matrix A, if you look at this, what we would say is, I'm looking for how many rows it has. So for me, it looks like it has 1, 2. So that's 2 rows. Okay, and then you look at how many columns it has. All right, it has 1, 2, 3. So I would say it's 3 columns. So I would say this is a 2 by 3. Okay. You could also say 2 by 3. Okay, but I write it like this, a 2 by 3 matrix. Okay. So that's the first part, is figuring out what your dimensions are today. Okay, so 2 by 3 matrix. All right, the second thing is we're going to figure out what an entry is. So an entry. In matrix A, you can denote the entry by the row and then by the column. So here's an example, A2, 1. So right there, A2, 1. All right, it goes in the same order as the dimensions. So it's going to go by your row first and then your column. So it says 2. So this is talking about row 2. So I'm in row 2. Okay, and then it says that 1 there. That means column 1. So column 1 is that first number right there. So A2, 1 would be 6. Okay, if I said A1, 3, okay, this is not A13, it's A1, 3. All right, that's the first row. So first row, the third column, so 1, 2, 3. So that answer there would be 4. All right, remember, when you're doing dimensions or representing an entry, you always do the rows first, and then you do the columns. So what you do is you're gonna try these all on your own. After you're done trying these, you're gonna pause and check the answer key and see how you do. Up next, we have addition and subtraction of matrices. To do this, in order to do any subtraction or addition, they have to have the exact same dimensions, all right? So you cannot do this if they're not the same matrix, all right? So they don't have the same dimensions. That means it's not like a 2 by 3 or a 2 by 2, all right? It has to be in the same dimensions. If it's not, you write not possible if they're not the same dimensions. So this is what a problem would look like. Here's our first 2 matrices here. We've got this first matrix here, plus the second matrix here. So first off, you have to see, do they have the same dimensions? We're going to check that first. This first one, again, you do row by column. It has 2 rows by, it has 1, 2, 3 columns. This one over here has 2 rows and 3 columns. So since they have the exact same dimensions, we can actually add them together. So how you do this is you're actually going to add the corresponding entries, all right, which means you're going to add the ones in the same spot. So what we're going to do first here, so we're going to do the first row, first entry. All right, so I've got -3 and 5. So I'm going to add those. -3 plus 5 equals 2. Okay, next one. First row, second entry, 0 and -2. 0 plus -2 is -2. All right, then we have 2 and 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. All right, up next, we've got the second row, first entry, 4 and -7. 4 plus -7 is -3. -6 and 0, if I add those up, I get -6. And 10 and -8, if I add those up, I get 2. So my final answer should be in this 2 by 3 matrix. It says 2, -2, 4, -3, -6, 2, which is the exact same thing I got right there. So that's all you're doing there. And again, you can only do it if they have the same dimensions, all right? So if you have like a 2 by 3 and a 2 by 2, those don't go together. They're not the exact same dimensions. All right, so now try these problems on your own and check the answer key. All right, up next, we've got scalar multiplication. All right, this is when you just take a matrix and you're multiplying by a number. So we have this example here. It has matrix A, all right? And matrix A is a 1, 2, 3, a 3 by 1, 2, 3. All right, and we're going to find -2a. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to take everything in matrix A and we're going to multiply it by -2. Okay, so if I do this without looking at the stuff down here, all right, I know I'm going to end up with a 3 by 3 matrix still. Okay, and I multiply every number I have in there by -2. All right, so 3 times -2 is -6. 2 times -2 is -4. 0 times -2 is 0. -1 times -2 is 2. -3 times -2 is 6. And 6 times -2 is -12. All right, we've got 2 times -2, which is -4. 0 times -2, which is 0. And then -10 times -2 is 20. So that would be my final answer there. Okay. All right, finally, we got some challenge problems here. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna just find the variables. So you're gonna make equations. Again, we can add things or common entries. So if I look here, I've got x plus 2 in the first row, first entry. So I'm gonna look at every other first row, first entry. I'm gonna make my equation from that. So I've got x plus 2, this plus sign there, that first entry, 3, equal sign, 7. And from there I can solve for x. So I would say I've got x plus 5 equals 7, so x equals 2. Okay, so I found my x. We're gonna see if there's any other variables here. So it looks like I've got one more variable. It's got this -y. That looks like to me it's in the second row, second entry. So I'm gonna look over here. Second row, second entry is -1. Second row, second entry is -5. So my equation here would be -y plus -1 equals -5. All right, that's y equals -4. So y equals 4. Okay, and so on and so forth from there. So you can have multiple variables.